In today's story, we're going to be going over an attempted kidnapping of a family member of mine. It was one of my cousins. This is an absolutely horrific story. Guys, I hope you enjoy the video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And please share to your friends on social media. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Sit back, relax, grab some popcorn, and I'll see you at the end. Bye now. It was a summer's night down in Tennessee where my cousin lives, and he was having a fight with his mother. And he ended up actually leaving that night. He packed up all of his stuff, and he's like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this anymore. He was only 8 or 9 at the time. You know how kids are. They're kind of just doing whatever they want. They want to just leave and get away from the problem at hand. I even remember when I was a kid that I even kind of did something similar, like, I'm going to leave, I'm not going to come back. Just stupid stuff. Kids want to get their own freedom. They don't actually realize the consequences that actually has. Just a crazy thought of that. When you look back at it when you're older, like, that's crazy. Why would you even do something like that? So he packs up all of his stuff and he actually escapes through his bedroom window. And he's like, I'm not dealing with this lady anymore. She's crazy to me. Obviously, that actually wasn't the case. But like at the time when you're 8 years old and you're like, you want to disobey your parents, you're obviously going to say stuff like that. You're going to feel that way. So he makes his way down the street and he's going down his street. He's making his walk. He actually already had a campsite set up. It was actually a couple blocks down the road. And it was getting later at this point, around 10 o'clock. And, you see a little 8, 9-year-old kid, people are going to be like, oh, what the heck's going on? Why is this kid out? He's alone. He has like a bag with him. This looks oddly suspicious. Very strange and unusual. It's really out there. What's going on? So, people are looking at like, should I call the cops? This, that, and the other thing. So he makes his way actually to the campsite at this point. It's like this little wooded area next to some houses. So he sets his bags out. He sets his tent out. This is very prep for a kid. I mean, this is actually pretty astonishing that a kid actually did all this. So he sets his tent up. Everything's all set up. He got a sleeping bag in there. He has a little fire even started for himself. He has like a little canteen next to his tent. Everything's going well. And then the worst part is, though, about all this, it's not the fact that he had everything and that he was away from his parents. No. That's not the worst part, even with some good in there. It's the fact that there was a white van off to the street he didn't see that was looking at him the whole time. There's this creepy guy in this van staring at him. Like, this is actually really happening right now. These are kidnappers. They're going to try and take this kid, and his parents are never going to even know where he is again. His parents actually just called the cops about 10 minutes after they realized he wasn't in his room. But the cops don't show up there. They're looking for him throughout the town. And he's playing with his tent and his stuff, getting everything set up ready for the night. He's like, I'm done. Realistically, he was probably going to come back in the morning and, say he's sorry and whatever. And his parents would make up with him and stuff and apologize. But his neighbor looks out the window at him and he's like, there's a white van actually circling this kid. And the neighbor actually knew who this was. The neighbor knew who this was. So that's the terrifying part, is that this neighbor actually cared for this kid, my cousin. And this white van was circling and they were getting ready to get out of this van. There was multiple people in this white van ready to pounce on this kid and take him. This would have been a horrible kidnapping story if it actually happened. This is just so tragic. And they're circling again, and this guy is still staring at him. And he's like, I'm ready. I'm going to go get this kid. Because my cousin heard them talking in this van, and they've been circling now for like 20 minutes. And so actually, what happens is the neighbor calls the cops. The neighbor comes outside at this point, and he's like, yo, come here. This guy's going to come and kidnap you. Literally, like he was getting ready to come. The neighbor had to act very quickly in this manner, very quickly. There was no time to waste in a situation like this. So he ends up grabbing the kid, goes in the house, like I said, calls the cops. Cops come, takes him home, and luckily, they made up. The neighbor, gave him the cops, and then the kid, my cousin, made up with his parents. So that all resolved, but they never actually found out who the white van belonged to. They don't even know who owned the van. They never actually figured it out, unfortunately. But that night he ran away from home. He actually really did almost get kidnapped. It's scary and disturbing things like this, you really want to avoid. You don't want to be ever a part of something like this. It's actually very spooky and scary. Like, when kids and their parents fight, and like this stuff can actually happen. When a kid runs away from home, they might get kidnapped and never seen again. It's terrifying, and more stories like this, should be brought to light, because people should know and realize the consequences of this stuff. And it's so important that, keep an eye on your kids in situations like that when they're fighting, because kids just don't care. They don't think about the consequences as much as you do as an adult, as you learn and get the experience of this world. So I hope you guys enjoyed this a little bit of a shorter story, but it was also interesting to see kind of a different perspective from things, from when you're a younger kid, around 8 or 9 years old, and you almost get kidnapped. You learn a lot at that point in life after you went through that. So guys, if you enjoyed this shorter story, it's still a full video, but, luckily he didn't get kidnapped. But if you did like it, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and please share with your friends on social media. There will be more unique and actually Halloween-oriented stories coming soon. There's some bigger stories coming. I'm going to do a whole week of just Halloween videos. It's going to be specials the entire week leading up to Halloween, and then a special video on Halloween itself. I'm also going to be going live that week once or twice, so guys, stay tuned for that. And have a great night and a great day, and stay safe out there. Bye now.